Bonjour and welcome to another issue of COMICHat, where we, hopefully, if you add your comments after the video, we talk about the top 10 comics of the week, plundered from my haul this week. So this isn't my haul. And just out of interest, let me know if you've seen the haul video. I know, like, you are my sexiest commenters and subscribers that have already commented on that whole video. But if you haven't and you look at this top 10, just go and have a look at the little haul video I did. Where, well, and also let me know if you got any of this top 10 right. I think there might be a couple in here. Obviously, there's an issue, there's one issue one. But a few of these, I think you're going to realise what those going to be in my top 10, because they always are. To be honest, any Ghost Machine, you know it's going to be in my top 10. I'm going to do a deep dive on 3 very, very interesting independent. I mean, do we still call Image independent? I do. And they are doing some absolutely stunning work. Well, I've got 2, 4, 6. I've got 6 Image, so that's over half. How many have I got here? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Oh, so my top 10's got 13 in it. But when comics are good, they're good. It's difficult choosing 10. So, quick apologies for my bad eye. Doesn't affect my sight, so I've still been able to read. It's just a lump under the eye, in case you're thinking I've been beaten up. No, it's a lump in my eyelid. And anyway, here's the top 10. Deep dive on 3, including the book of the week. And after the book of the week, at the end, there's going to be cover of the week. A little bit of self-indulgent fun, where we imagine we only had pocket money for that one comic. Oh, you coming in at you like a tractor beam, the cover. That's what lured you in. So just a little bit of fun, a little bit of hark back to the, do we call it the good old days, or should we just call it nostalgia? Yes, we will. Anyway, let's get on with it. Here we go. Marvel up first. Incredible Hulk, artwork by Kev Walker. In this, so I assume he's doing the next. It is jarring when, I've said this before, it is jarring when Nick Klein's not on it, because his art style is so intrinsic with this new take on the Hulk. I love Kev Walker's art, particularly the Guardians of the Galaxy series he did. I think it was last year or maybe the year before, or split across the 2 years. And I've always enjoyed his artwork. I've enjoyed the artwork in this, but it is jarring. And it's almost like you're back to normal Hulk. It's a bit like on Absolute Batman. When Dragotta isn't on the artwork, his style, again, is so intrinsic with that big hench new Absolute Batman, and, you know, the Bane that they've got going on now. Nevertheless, this is a good continuation on. I'm not moaning, just mentioning that tiny, it's jarring, but then you're over it, because it's still, I always mix these triple-barreled names. Philip Kennedy Johnson, I always get him mixed up with Daniel Warren Johnson. Are they related? No, I don't suppose they are. Anyway, a decent continuation on the present, or the 26th issue of this kind of new iteration, this more like horror take on the Hulk, but in the first part in a new storyline, which involves, it was quite a nice little action take with old, what's his face? It's a bit early, wasn't it, for a brain fart? Winter Soldier. Wow, let's get, at least it's over and done with, eh? Another Marvel one. Bundles and bundles of fun. Look, I didn't give the game away in the spoilers last month, but yes, you've got Predators, you've got a serial killer Predator, you've got the normal Predators that we all know and love after him, to track him down, and then obviously getting into trouble. and you've got Spider-Man, you've got MJ on the underground system, you've got J. Jonah Jameson in it, you've got a new kind of character detective that they've thrown into the mix. I am loving this. This, in and of itself, this issue was all right. It's just kind of, maybe just kind of that lull before the big, the big finale. This I'm putting up here because do you know what? This is always near the top of my pile, and I suddenly realised that I have had my moments with this comic, but overall, I think this is becoming like a staple for me. Like it's hard. It's difficult when you've got a writer like Hickman and everything has to be grandiose. And I think sometimes the hype gets on your nerves, like the hype surrounding this. I know the publishers have got to do it, don't get me wrong, and etc. etc. But your expectations are elevated and no one can deliver. But then when you sit back, especially Cecchetto's artwork on this and Hickman's writing, 18 issues in, Hickman's just calming down now. The setup's all done. And a lot of it I just found jarring. If you followed me, if you're one of my sexy subscribers, thanks by the way. You know I love you all. You know the journey I've had with this. I know it's an overused word. 1 minute I'm loving it, next minute I'm getting wound up. But overall, I'm still on board for 18 issues. And I think you kind of take it for... I think I got halfway through this and thought, do you know what? I'm taking this for granted. Cecchetto's artwork is beautiful. I'm engaged with every single character, so that's thanks to Hickman. Get over it, Hog. Just get over it and enjoy it. Get over the fact that it's another Elseworlds. That was my big bugbear. Get over it. Anyway, 2 up. That's Marvel. 3 from Marvel. A couple from DC. This was the finale of this. Mark Waid, Dan Mora. What more can I say? I've been singing the praises when they was both on World's Finest for that first, 20 odd issues, or did they get into the 30s, them two? My God, Mark Waid makes it look easy. You can tell he loves it. You just know he loves these DC heroes. For me at the moment, this was great finale and overload of DC. I think maybe, wherever I haven't been a lifelong DC fan, everyone's in this. It's like Gary Oldman in Leon when he goes, everyone. That's what Mark Waid said when he wrote this. Dan Mora says, so what characters have I got to draw? What characters have I got to draw in Justice League Unlimited? And he goes, everyone. It has been a blast though, guys. It's been a blast. Obviously, we'll make a beautiful... This was part 6 of 6. In issue 8, I forget what they must have done with the first couple of issues, really. I forget now. But yeah, with some of the DC stuff, I think I'm waning a bit now. There's only so much, interest is... Don't know how to explain it. But I'm sure if you follow me over the coming weeks, you will find out. Find out? Find out. This is beautiful. Hayden Sherman, beautiful. That's all I have to say about that. This particular storyline is leaning right into the mythology of Themyscira or the Amazons, whatever you want to call it, and using kind of like known elements. I would say elements of known mythology, and I'm plus the modern day. She's got her little gang around her now from the first story arc. And I'm really enjoying that grounding of her that just makes her more godlike in their eyes. Like we are kind of... I like that device because not just Steve, but there's a couple of women there in the gang. And we're just following our journeys through them with this character. And obviously, I'm trying not to give you... These aren't specific spoiler reviews. I'm just trying to illustrate verbally what is good and what is not. Issue 2 of this. So that was the only 2. It wasn't the only 2 DC I bought, by the way. But they're the only two that are in my top 13 of 10. This, I'm going to say it now, this is one of my favourite Mark Millar stories, I've got to say. And it's because it is so uncompromisingly upbeat with the character. There is no cynicism in it at all. Like, you can take these characters, you can take superheroes, and you can go dark with them. You can put them in the real world, you know, all the tropes that have been done. And it's like, this is like a breath of fresh air, because this guy, I mean, kind of, he's basically Superman, right? But with even more, with different powers. But just imagine for a moment. And that's what Mark Millar has done. He's placed this Superman character, and I know this is going to sound weird, but placed it into the real world. Now, I know that but when you think about it, Superman in Metropolis with Lois and all that, even my face is screwing up already. That doesn't mean I'm not enjoying it. I am. I've picked it up again this month. But this is kind of like it's a skew on it, but nevertheless, they haven't gone down the route of, oh, what if the superheroes existed? But a bit like The Boys, you know. And for me, I am getting, my head does sink a little bit when it's just that same old cynical take on the characters. But the characters, him and his mum's in there, because he's on the spectrum a bit, Huck, in that story. Anyway, it's a blast. Probably better read as a trade paperback. I don't know if that's going to be Mark Millar. Normally does 4, doesn't he? Or that might be 6. But I'd like to see that as an ongoing. As in, you know, more and more series as the years go on. Yes. This was a great adventure issue where they tried to get in to, and I don't mean this is a spoiler if you're following this, it's a bit late now, issue 14, get the trade paperbacks. But in this issue, they need to kind of do the Mission Impossible to get into the pet store, the big pet store. It's all fenced off, and that's their nirvana. And it doesn't go very well. Brilliant stuff. It's a lot of fun. And so is this. Yeah, see? Who thought I was going to make this book of the week again? Eh? On issue, this is kind of like, it almost feels like not a fill-in issue, but one of those issues that just kind of it's levelled out for a little bit, and it's spring more in this issue, the youngest of the 4 Season sisters, and the continuing saga of this evil carnival that's turned up in town, and her sister Summer last month. What's going to happen to her? We find out. Jetsons for the 21st century, guys. Rockefellers again. It's that F word. It's so much fun. The guys, the creative team, Peter J. Tomasi is writing such a light story, but not being inconsequential. They're basically a family from the future that have had to escape their future because they're being chased by a big bad, and they do make an appearance in this issue as well. So it's just been 6 issues of romp in the 21st. You know, we're there from the 30th century or something. This was absolutely beautiful. Ivan Rice on the artwork, as always, delivering. Who's the colour? Brad Anderson's colouring. What a dream team. An absolute dream team. And this is your Twilight Zone. If you haven't picked this up, it will work in single issues. It works better if you get it from number 1, because it's building, and there's a couple of offshoots, Devour and I forget the other one now. But absolutely stunning. And it's a Twilight Zone-y setup. And Pranky is one of our main protagonists. This is the matinee monster, and you learn all their backstories along the way, but these two come to blows in this issue. but done in a way where it's not just a fight. Very, very cool. Loved it. Love it. Love that Ghost Machine stuff. I really do. Right, and our three, kind of like the top three, really. The last issue of this, I have sung this book's praises before. This was the final issue. So issue 5, this ended up, and I'm going to do the deep dive on it just to give you a little taste of the artwork in it, because it's got to be done, and the creepiness of the concept of the story in bloom. Humans at a certain point indetermined, that we don't know when we're going to bloom, and we've got this connection with plants, and some people bloom by just having something pop out the side of their head, or other people bloom like the main protagonist's wife bloomed by, and all her head kind of just turned into a giant kind of organic thing. And the artwork, it's creepy, and it's a great idea. And obviously that is the bare bones of the story, very bare bones. There's a lot more going on than that. A bit like this, there's a lot more going on, but as yet we don't really know what exactly. The main guy we don't know whether he's doing stuff or just involved in stuff. But again, I'm just going to show you some of the art. It's such an intriguing. But what Zander Cannon has done is there is a lot of sound effects in this, like where he works in a coffee shop, and there's a load of zips and bits and the ding of the door in this old town in America. Wow, you're in. You are in. And it's not a quick read. Like, it's not as if like all the... Anyway, we're going to have a look at it in a deep dive. I think you'll enjoy having a look. And book of the week. This blew me away. Oh, wow, I love this. This was horrific. It's your horror tones. It's your... Yeah, it involves fallout. Look, restricted area on the back. It is everything I wanted. And more. Just a different take on it. So that is the 3 for the deep dive plus cover of the week. So if you like the sound of that, please join me after I've had I don't know if you can see, I'm sweating profusely in England at the moment. The sun is a-shining. So yes, I'm going to cool off and then come back with the top 3 and cover of the week. Okay, gang fight. First up, I'm just going to do a deep dive just to showcase. I've kind of briefly, what I don't want to do is spoil. I want to showcase this book, but I don't want to spoil. If you do get this in trade paperbacks, I think Boom are pretty quick bringing these out, so I do thoroughly recommend this. It's just a different take on. This is our main guy, Cole, and him and his partner, who we'll see in a minute. This woman here, basically they're your Mulder and Scully. Look, she's bloomed, yeah, in this future dystopian kind of detective noir. She's bloomed, but that's all she got. Now Cole's wife. This is what happened to his wife and daughter, and he weren't happy. And the intrigue comes from there. It's like the ultimate extension of Cole being anti-climate change, and they go after the tree huggers. It's taken to the nth degree. Here we go, and this is the nightmare scenario he's in. This is the final issue. But this is what I really enjoyed, the different forms of bloom. And you know straight away, I mean, this is, like I say, the ultimate issue, the ending, the finale. So it's all kicking off. And you know where she's going to end up. And that's not a spoiler, by the way, because she does get out. But just this fantastic style of artwork that I really... And it's a real creepy, some of the different blooms that the two creators, and let's give them a shout out, Michael W. Conrad and John J. Peterson. I forget what they'd done before for Boom that made me just pick this up, which I really enjoyed. It was about the demons in modern day. Anyway, it'll be on another video, but it'll probably be. Here we go. Look at this stuff. This is the creepiness of the whole concept, and she's obviously trying to convince him to bloom, because you know there are. Look at this. This is the stuff that made it a really creepy. She's basically trying to persuade him to become part of the green. You know, almost like a Swamp Thing kind of thing going on. But thoroughly enjoyed that. I do recommend. Like I say, 5 issues, so it's not the heaviest read. It'll be a quick read. It'll be a nice quick read, and you can go from there. And what I wanted to show you in this, the setup. I mean, it's black and white and red. His glasses are in red. Look, and right at the beginning, and this is a little detail that comes through at the end, like a little bit. So basically, he's waking up in a car crash. The bloke works in a coffee shop, and this is the bit I liked. The sound effects. We don't need the speech. It's such a minimal, but he's using all. There's someone else. There's someone else alive. Pastor Stephen, and that will come back in by the end of the story. So here he goes. He runs off. And then it starts. There we go. Lovely, creepy, you know, set in the dark, you know, start. Lovely. And this is all Xander Cannon. So brilliant the way it's done. And also the way these are done as well, where there's a group of people and they're all talking over each other. And straight away it might look annoying, but please believe me when I say it's not. It's a very, very cool way of getting everyone's conversation in there. And it's obviously frantic. That frantic, it really does up the pace and the nervousness of it. And here we go. He's turned up for work. He's got home, or he's got to the back of the shop. Look, he's got the key out the top. Look, tie. Open, flip. You know, he's obviously opened a bit late. Look, 10 past 6. I don't know. Maybe that's in issue 1. He should open at 6 or something like. He's saying sorry. Come on in. You don't have to click to turn the lights on in his little coffee shop. And then we get the banter. But like I say, it's just interspersed with a little bit of red here and there. Because he's obviously freaking out. You know, the local sheriff turns up. Or police chief Nikolai. Yeah. And I don't know if I'm really showcasing it well enough, because at the moment all we're being given are fragments. We kind of know what's going on, but do we? But I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I like his art style, and I like this. When when he's economical, he's economical. You know, pages like this, and the glasses come back. I don't know. He's got a thing about red glasses. I don't know what the psychology of that is, but like I say, we've had 2 issues, and at the moment it's just all swirling. The first issue introduced all the characters we needed. This second issue has kind of introduced us to a moment, the car crash, the moment. So I'm really, really intrigued. Right, so this one literally landed on the LCS shelf, and Chris Condon I'd heard of, but I can't pinpoint what he's done. You know, kind of a couple of bits here and there ish. Anyway, love the art style. And again, the art by Jeffrey Allen Love is as creepy. It's as creepy as you like. Here we are in 1962 at an undisclosed location, Atomic Alley, Southern Nevada. And even, I mean, this moody artwork, I'm loving it. It reminded, you know, it's kind of like a mixture of, there's kind of Sienkiewicz in there. There's Ted McKeever in there. I just loved it from the first part. And again, sound effects, and only words when it's needed. It's using the imagery, and guess what? Spoiler alert, by the way. If you want to, or you're getting this book, you haven't picked it up yet. Spoiler alert. Yeah, it's not much of a spoiler, is it? You've got a nuclear exploder, atomic bomb exploding. And what I won't do is go any more than, well, no, I can go through. Obviously, these men were too close. They were too close. And that is the wonderfully simple setup to this comic. And I thoroughly, sometimes simple is good. The KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid. Anyway, thoroughly recommend. This art style's right up my street. And that's going to be a cover because I think there's a lot of impact there. When you've got someone like that, how he's dressed up, and look at this, just almost a silhouette, and you've got the word fallout, that does a lot. That does a lot to tell you what's going on. But this week wasn't the heaviest for great covers. You know, if I say that every now and again. Here's Batman and Sonic. Look, if you're going to sell DC versus Sonic, then have Batman with the lightning in the background, eh? Why not? And, you know, Robot Sonic. Love this Nick Klein cover. Beautiful stuff from the vegetation here. But just the horror element of that tells you what you're getting involved with. Oh, and let's plonk the Winter Soldier in the middle. So you know what you're getting. Same with this. Here's our weird predator. You know, that the serial killer predator. Here's Spider-Man and here's Kraven the Hunter. No, probably after both of them. And he look at his big shotgun. I thought that was a powerful image. Powerful image for Wonder Woman. With the Minotaur. I like to say, it's going into mythology now. I love the fact that it's all, you know, the light is coming from the axe head. So he's in his own shadow kind of thing, in the darkness. I love the pools of water. I just think that's a beautiful piece of artwork. So is that. Come on, me old Mr. Mora. He's put everyone in it. Everyone. Oh, and even old, what's his name, turns up, Jonah Hex. But he's, you know, it is a crossover event. So yeah, crossover with Jonah Hex. One of the best DC characters ever. Not. Anyway, unless you're reading the comic, you don't really know what's going on. It's still a great illustration. I love it. But no, that's not going to get cover of the week. I think there's maybe, can there be such a thing as too much going on? And it is Dan Mora, but no, that isn't going to be cover of the week. That isn't the most, it's kind of grim, you know, and gritty. Not grim as in not very good, but you know what I mean, grim, he is grim, and you know, Kraven is grim, but no, I think there could be a bit more going on. So basically, I think it's down to, that is like horror Hulk, but there's not, this is, by the way, this has got nothing to do with this week's issue, this month's issue. Or very little, put it that way. Obviously it's horror content. Wow. What a juxtaposition we have on our hands this week, cover fans. I've got to say, it's got to be this. That is for a certain audience, and I think for all ages, fun, comic reading, let's give it a try audience. I think Robot Sonic versus Batman with the lightning in the background, I think that's got it all going on. He's like a hedgehog transform. Perhaps it's just me and my hedgehogs. But anyway, guys, that's the cover of the week. If you followed me this far, I do sincerely thank you so much. I really do appreciate all of your support, your comments. When you get involved, I love you even more. You haven't got to, but I love it when you do. So, until next time, I'm going to bid you all adios.